thanks for joining us for another episode of Mid-American Gardener. I'm your host, Tanisha Spain, and joining me to talk about all things green and growing are two of our favorite panelists. We're going to have them introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about their specialties, and then we're going to take some of your questions. And of course, we've got show and tell. So, Kay, we'll start with you.
Okay. I'm a Champaign County Master Gardener and a volunteer out at Allerton Park. And my specialty is herbs and vegetables and whatever.
Whatever else is growing out in the yard. All right, Miss Marty.
Hi, hello out there in TV land. I'm Marty Alanya, and I'm a retired landscaper, and I'm asking for a machete for my birthday to beat my way through the weeds, get to my front door. That's what I'm
That
doing.
good, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And you haven't even had as much rain as I'm in Vermilion County. It has been raining daily. Not just a
Wow.
little bit, too. I mean, rain. So I'll trade you.
Okay.
Because I'm outside mudding in
Well, they're growing.
zinnias.
No problem. They are growing. It's not
And here I am with no rain.
No rain. I'll send some your way.
weird. That's so weird.
Very
We'll set up
strange.
some gutters.
Yeah.
Just run it down
Please
there.
do.
I'll trade you manure for rain.
It's a deal.
Okay. All right.
I'll give you, anyway.
So the talk of the town, as it has been for weeks now, are the cicadas. And Kay, we were talking just a few minutes ago before the show. Kay, you said you're in Urbana and your
No,
house,
we're in Monticello.
Monticello, I'm sorry, and you're just crawling with
Oh,
them.
it's just
Literally.
thick.
Like, explain
Crawling with them.
how bad it is at your place.
I can't even begin to explain.
Oh.
We just have these swarms of them. You know, you go out and they just explode all over
Oh my
everywhere.
gosh.
And there's piles of the shells under all our trees. I mean, huge piles.
And you said they're just dive bombing you and
Oh, yes.
flying into you. Is it loud? Are they noisy?
Yes, they just yesterday really started singing. Or if you can call it singing.
If you can call it singing, yes. We've got some folks who, and Marty, you're not seeing any, right?
None at all.
I'm not
I live
either.
in
I'm
God's
jealous.
country.
So,
We
yes.
don't have bugs.
We got the sweet spot. My in-laws live in Potomac, and their farm is also crawling with them. So we've had a lot of folks send us in some pictures. Here are a couple from Jim and Sherry Chriselle. So we've been saying this whole time that they will only damage small trees to lay their eggs, but we're seeing some plant damage in folks who are having them just really camp under their trees. So this is kind of blurry here, but you know, they're not laying eggs in hosta, they're not feeding on the hosta, but what's going on here? What are you guys seeing?
Well, you know, if you walked around carrying 147 bugs on you, you'd weigh a little bit more. So,
The weight of the world?
yeah, the weight of the cicada.
The weight of the cicada.
Yeah, I don't know if
'Cause we know they're
spraying
not
them with water
feeding.
would knock them off. I mean, I suppose you could just brush them off. I mean, it wouldn't bother me, but some people are kind of, you know, so.
I mean, they're really, just in some of the pictures that they sent. Are you seeing any plant damage?
I'm not really yet. I haven't looked really close, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen any yet. They're mostly in the base of the trees and around the trees.
Gotcha. I bet you're right, though, Marty. Just the sheer weight of
Yeah.
them, and it's
I mean,
probably just smothering.
They're like, I wouldn't recommend mulching with cicadas, but clearly these people are not taking my advice. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bugs.
They sent a lot of pictures
a
and
whole big
videos
bunch of
in,
bugs.
and it just goes on and on. I mean, they are literally just piled on these
they are.
people's
That's it.
property. Here's
yeah,
another one. This
just
is before
knock
the
'em off.
cicada got, or I'm sorry, before the hosta got tired. But maybe try a hose, Marty. That was a good idea. Maybe
Yeah.
try a hose and knock them
mean,
off.
Brush them off, knock them off. Something, you know.
Give it a shot.
Just
and see if you
get
can.
them off the plants.
And I heard there's a smell. Okay, is there?
I haven't noticed it
Okay.
yet. Maybe, you know.
I hope I
don't
don't
linger.
have to learn any of this firsthand. But some
Gift that
people are
keeps on
saying
giving.
there's a stink about them too.
Well, when
So
they die in massive amounts, I can see where there might
they
be
probably do.
an
But
aroma.
a little stench there.
The
So
teeny, just
hang
a
in,
teensy.
folks. Hang in there. But keep your pictures coming because they're giving us all the creepy crawlies. So yeah, maybe try the water hose on the highest setting and blast those babies right off of there. We have another question, and this is a plant ID. Johnny Moon sent this one in and said he found this growing in his yard. and wanted to know if you guys could help out with plant ID. I have an idea, but I am the student and not the teacher.
We've got that, but I'm not sure what it is.
I mean, it sure
He
looks
was asking
like
if it was
weed.
hemlock, poison hemlock.
poison hemlock.
Well,
It looks
could
to me
be,
like
yeah, there's a lot of that around.
we have poison hemlock, and that looks just like it.
So what do you do? Is this one of the ones with a difficult root system? How do you get rid of yours, or do you?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I
You have
do.
to be careful because you can, it'll get on your skin and
Yeah.
cause issues.
Now, can the leaves brush your skin, or is it the latex, or just be careful, I guess, when you're
Yeah,
removing
just,
it?
Yeah.
just
Wear
wear
gloves.
some gloves. I'm not especially sensitive to them, but I also don't get poison ivy unless I'm really exposed to a lot of it. I'm just not sensitive that way. But these things greatly resemble Queen Anne's lace,
Lace.
and people often mistake it, except that poison hemlock will get like 6 feet tall. They're both in the same family, and they're in the same family along with carrots. That's why the foliage looks the way it does. But when poison hemlock gets a stem on it, you can see purple blotches all up and down the stem. There'll be like a little bruise here, a little spot there, and that's how you know it's poison hemlock and not Queen Anne's lace. And just by the sheer size of that thing, compared to the mulch, I'm going to say it's poison hemlock.
Okay.
They have a taproot just like a carrot does, and you're going to need to dig it out with a spade. Get them while they're small. My friend has one of those little, you've seen these things? They are
The
auspicious.
down and twisty?
No.
Oh.
It's easier than that.
Really? Yes. I might need to
Yes.
upgrade my tools.
I should have borrowed it from her, brought it, and then I'd have to bring a chunk of ground in with some dandelion. You slide it right next to the plant, and then you step on this little lever, and you rock the handle back, and it goes, sorry. It
Oh,
just
wow,
leaves.
that is
Oh,
easy.
Yes, it's really great. Bye-bye.
Wow.
Oh, they're
I'm gonna
great.
have to
I
look
walk
into
around her
that.
yard going,
Where'd she get it?
I need one of these.
Uh-huh.
I'll try to bring it.
Yeah, next time. Next time.
I'm
We'll
on
need a tool
panel.
demonstration.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Are
they're
they hard
fabulous.
to control? Is this invasive? Is
Yeah.
it going to spread and go
they
to
don't-
seed and get crazy?
They don't spread by roots, but you got to get them out before they go to seed, because the seed, the flower head is an umbel, a flat umbel like Queen Anne's lace, and every one of them turns into a flower, and they are amazingly high germination rate.
Of course they are.
They get in my they get in my asparagus bed, and you really need to get, I don't want to dig up my asparagus friends, but those have got to go.
Those have got to go.
Those
Okay.
and burdock. These are the enemies.
The real troublemakers.
Oh yeah. So yeah, be sure you get something that'll get the root out. Get as deep as you can, because if you miss a piece, you'll see one there later.
You'll see. You'll
But-
see.
But,
Okay.
dig it out again.
All right. Kay, looks like you brought something.
Yes.
Show and tell. What you got?
This is French lavender.
Not to be confused with any other kind.
with regular with regular, and it's really kind of a pretty. It's actually a perennial, and it's got this one's kind of scrawny. I just got it and I haven't put it in the ground
That's
yet.
all right. She's still lovely.
But it is blooming,
They smell so. That's my
and
favorite
it's
fragrance.
different than the regular because it blooms longer.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
It blooms all summer long, and
Is it
it's not cold tolerant.
I know.
just want to rub it all over me.
I know.
So,
We're just all
you
gonna
know.
relax, lay around
Yeah.
like cats.
Yes, very pretty. So, and you said this is perennial. It'll survive
no, it's-
Illinois.
No.
Oh, I thought you
so
said perennial.
It's not cold tolerant
Gotcha.
here.
It's not perennial.
Wah, wah.
But
I know. If you have a sun porch and you grow
yeah,
it in a
you
pot,
can, yeah, if you had some place to bring it in, pot it up and bring it in.
Now, do you put yours in pots or do you put them in the ground and enjoy them that way?
I put mine in the ground.
You do?
I don't have room for all the pots I got.
I know it. But then you start thinking, I want to save this one, I want to save this one, I want to save this one. And then before you know it, you've got 100 pots.
I'll probably try and bring this one in. And
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
That is pretty. So you said it's got a longer bloom time. Then are there any other differences or advantages from regular lavender to French? Anything that you like it for above the regular?
Just that they're showy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks like it's kind of straggly, but and it blooms for a really long time.
Got it.
Yeah.
And that would be pretty in a pot too, kind of complementing other things, especially with the long flower stalk.
Yeah, the foliage is a little bit more finely cut than English lavender.
Yes, it is. But it has the fragrance.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah, that
does.
smells really nice.
Don't smell your fingers. I'm
Sorry.
It's not good.
If you're just tuning in,
I'm just saying.
it's French lavender.
Okay.
All right, we've got a question. Oh, were you going to say something else? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
We've got, ever since I started working here, I've noticed that hydrangeas stress people out really bad every single summer. So we've got no shortage of those questions. So let's knock those out. Dawn wants to know, she's got an endless summer that's probably 20 years old, hasn't bloomed for a few years, wants to know what to do, if she can give it anything, or if it's just time to, what are your thoughts there?
I was deeply disappointed in endless summer hydrangeas, as possibly Kay was as well, because they are not as they claim to be.
Endless.
They're not endless in the slightest. The ones that are pH sensitive, pink to blue to lavender in the middle, I find them to be incredibly unreliable for rebloom. They bloom on old and new wood. First of all, in this climate, I've never seen one with old wood. They just don't. Unless you have a perfect little inside corner facing southwest with evergreens around the mouth of it, but still manages to get some sun, maybe then. But Blushing Bride is one of their varieties, and it's white and then it fades to pink, as the name would indicate. That one is very reliable for rebloom, but I don't find the pH sensitive ones to be reliable at all. I don't know what kind of microclimate she's got hers in. I have put those in for clients over the years, and I'm like, you make me look stupid. I just don't
Don't
like
embarrass
you.
me and my reputation.
You're going to have to go to compost heaven is what you're going to do.
What, Kate, do
So-
you grow hydrangea?
No, I don't
You
have
don't?
that.
She stays out of that arena entirely.
I don't find them to be an asset. Really, I don't.
Okay.
Like I said, I mean, maybe if I lived in Kentucky or Tennessee, that might be warm enough where they don't struggle. But here, we got a week of like 7 and below
Yes.
for about 5 days. Goodbye.
Oh, yes.
Goodbye, big leaf hydrangea. They're just not going to do it. So
Okay.
it has been my experience that I won't plant them. I just won't bother unless they're Blushing Bride. But if they're pH sensitive, they're just not hardy here.
All right. Along that same vein, Doris Ann Lamb says her tiny tough stuff mountain hydrangeas have never bloomed. She's had hers for 6 years. She's doing all of the things, and they are not blooming. So is that in the same? Okay, same explanation. Doggone it.
I'm sorry. Well, and those are supposed to have a redder bloom color, if I'm not mistaken. And a red hydrangea was like, the holy grail there, because everything's pink and blue and purple. Ooh, red. No, there's one called, what is it, Burning Embers or something like that. I had one of those. I was so excited. My poor heart was broken. Panicle hydrangeas, people, just buy the other kind.
Save yourself the heartache, is what she's trying to tell you.
Save yourself the heartache.
Okay.
They're beautiful, they're reliable. They bloom no matter what. They thrive on scientific or other kind of neglect. I love them.
All right. You heard it here, folks. Okay. Let's see. Kay, you brought in something else.
Yes.
Which I'm interested to hear about this because we've all got this under the counter.
Epsom salts.
Yes.
And they are wonderful for putting on your plants,
Okay.
especially tomatoes and peppers. You just want to sprinkle some around the edge. Or you can make a tablespoon per gallon of water and spray, do a foliar spray. But they give the plant magnesium.
Gotcha.
Is
And in
awesome.
tomatoes, does that help with
Blossom
blossom
end
end
rot?
rot? Hey,
Yeah.
my,
Yes,
Blossom
it
end
does.
rot.
Look at that.
Look at
My
you.
And
skills
also
are-
blooming. It helps in the bloom.
Interesting. So just kind of dress this around
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
area
you
there?
can, just sprinkle it around the edge, and, it'll go in with the rain.
Okay.
And, but you can also, like I said, make a solution and
Mm-hmm.
just spray it on.
Do you also, in addition to this, do you also feed your tomatoes? And if you do, how do you alternate, or can you do Epsom and fertilizer in the same day? Or
Yeah, you could alternate, I think. I make a mixture of blood meal, bone meal, and potash. And I usually, when I plant my plants, I put a couple tablespoons of that in the hole.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you use Epsom on your?
I do not,
You don't?
but I'm going to, because just in the last 2 seasons, I've had trouble with blossom end rot, and I never had trouble with it before, ever, ever. And the last 2 seasons have been absolutely miserable. So I'll be buying some of that, and I did not know that you could dilute that and use it as a foliar spray.
Yeah,
The things you learn.
The things you learn on
My
this
golly.
program.
a tablespoon
In a
to
gallon.
a gallon of water.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Now,
I will
blossom
do
end
that.
rot, does that have anything to do with moisture, rain, uptake of water, or is that?
It's mostly just mineral related.
Just
It's
mineral
the
related,
the
okay.
available minerals, because the plants don't care. They just want to make fruit because
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to make seed, because they're trying to procreate.
Survive, and yes.
So, but the mineral content in the soil is key.
And it's cheap.
It is cheap, yeah. You can find that stuff just about anywhere.
Anywhere, probably
Yes.
a dollar store to have it.
For sure. Okay. We'll be getting that and putting it on our tomatoes.
And peppers.
And peppers. And peppers.
Selenium,
Speaking of which, I know tomatoes are kind of your jam. How many varieties are we doing this year?
Well, I had 4, and I had 12 plants, but I'm down to 5 because I've got a rabbit that just.
Don't say it. This is
And
a family show.
I
Elmer Fudd, relax. I already see the expression on your face.
I've been spraying them
just
with
gonna
rabbit
comment about how-
repellent. And then,
Nothing's working,
Fried
huh?
rabbit is a
Yes,
tasty
yes,
dish.
Moving on. Let's see here.
It's not the right season. I don't want you to all get tularemia, but
Pegman
if
says.
you cook them well, they don't.
okay, that's
We're
right.
still talking about eating rabbits.
It's a little, you season, it's just like chicken. It's just like
Anyway, crabapple damage. Peg's got a tree. She lost a big branch off of her crabapple tree. She said she shaped it up the best she could, wonders if it's going to recover okay, and she said it's got a lot of suckers coming up. So what should she do about those, and do you think the tree can recover from losing a large branch?
the damage to the upper part of the tree is why you're getting so much sucker growth. The tree is trying to survive, but it lost a lot of, if it's a big branch, it lost a lot of canopy, it lost a lot of chlorophyll processing. It had a big wound. So the suckers at the bottom are its way of trying to keep on going. If the main trunk dies, it's going to try to send out babies. The little ones, just trim them off. Don't try to, I've seen people do this. If you trim off things in the ground, the little sprouts that come up, even if here's the tree and the sprouts coming up over here, just cut it off. Just cut it off. Do not put Tordon or something on there, because it'll go right up here, and then you'll call in because your tree died. Don't do that. So yeah,
Just cut it off, just remove it.
You don't have to treat the cuts with anything, and you absolutely cannot prevent them with woody brush killer unless you want to kill your whole tree.
Now, when you've had clients call with something like this before and you go out, what are some things when you're looking at a tree, specifically crabapple, what are some identifying characteristics where you know it's time? Like, will the tree not leaf out? What are some things that she can look for to know?
You'll see tip die back, because crabs are pretty hardy, but and they're fairly long lived for a small tree, I would say. But even in larger trees, you'll see tip die back. Even in spring, when it leaves out, you'll still see some little dead antlers sticking up here and there, and it's in decline. If you have dead branches, you'll see them. Or you'll hear woodpeckers out there or sapsuckers, because there's dead wood coming, or there's insect population because the tree is in decline. Remember, you get attacks from insects and fungus and bacteria on the weakest plants. So if you have a tree that's already or it's in decline or it's suffering, and you, oh my gosh, it's got borers. Well, it's got borers, but the other three don't, because this one was the weakest link. Survival of the fittest out there, people. It's a jungle.
Will extra water and maybe a little fertilizer, could that boost the?
Couldn't hurt.
Okay.
Couldn't hurt.
Give
Might
that a
help.
shot. Okay.
I would even, you can do granular, but you can also do some water soluble. Make sure you mulch it to keep the moisture even, especially on a plant that's struggling like that. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
you know, try to do what you can. I mean, you got to treat the symptoms. If you see insect, you know, you can treat them.
But that's still just, it's indicating that
stopgap
the tree is
because
still.
the tree is going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at what point do you decide the tree's done for and you take it down?
It's ugly.
Don't say that, because
That's as easy as it gets. I mean, you know, unless you're really into, you know, haunted house trees, and
Mhm.
it's, you know,
Sometimes they just have to go.
they just
It's
have to go.
unfortunate, but it
You also need to consider the possibility of how much longer do I leave this up before it falls on the garage?
mhm.
Okay, or the truck, or the house.
Good call.
So you have to do that, and it's
All right.
important to keep that in mind. Notice where it's going to fall if it falls, and arrange for when it falls rather than if it falls. Yeah, yeah.
All great
That's-
advice.
That's better.
All right,
That's
Sue
better.
Ellen Frederick wrote in that her snowball bush has lots of dead or bare branches. It's about 10 years old. She wants to know if she should cut the whole thing back. I can see there's the dead spot there. So if I call you and you're my landscaper and you show up at my place, what's the plan of attack?
My first question is, do you want it that large?
Mm.
Because is it a nice screen? I mean, obviously those bloom clear to the top, but those are a plant that, like lilacs, get a lot bigger than people expect them to get. So if I were you, I would get down there at its feet and take out the dead branches. Take as much of the dead out as you possibly can. And then, again, mulch it, take a little care of it. Those are lovely plants. People think of them as a little shrub, like the smaller varieties of hydrangea that we spoke of. But these can be a majestic shrub with a lot of architecture to it, much like old-fashioned farmhouse lilacs. So that's what it's going to do, what you see in the picture. You know, help it be beautiful. I mean, you don't have to keep it in a box. If you really feel like it's way out of your league, which from the picture, I don't think it is, you can cut it all the way down and let it go again, just like you can euonymus or lilac or anything else. But at this age and stage, I just take the dead out because it has a beautiful architecture.
Now, if
In
they
winter.
did want to shape this up, when are we talking early spring or after bloom? When would be the perfect time to get in there and maybe round some of that and kind of bring it back?
Ordinarily, after spring blooming things, particularly, or have there's kind of a rule of thumb. Anything that blooms before July, you wait till after it blooms and you prune it right away after that, because this is blooming on old wood. All the growth all the things that you see with flowers on them in the picture have been developing buds since last August, September, October. And they overwintered reliably, unlike some hydrangeas we've spoken of. So, so if you prune too late in the season, like just to shape it up, and I don't even know why you would. I mean, let it do what it does.
Let
It's
it just
got
have
a
its
lovely
full
grace to it.
glory.
You know, if
Some
it
of
hits
us
you
are
in the
really
head,
into symmetry, though.
Yeah, well, you know what? It is growing in a tiny little bed there. So if I were you, I would think about making the bed bump out around it.
Oh.
Or plant something, add a little bed in front of it, put some hosta at its feet and put some mulch down.
Ever the landscaper. You
Yeah.
can take the girl out of the business,
Take
right?
make it do something different. Hey,
Okay. But it's not as bad as you think. Just get in there and clean out that dead.
Yeah,
And
take the dead part out, and you'll be able to see some legs on it. But I don't think that's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad thing. That's a beautiful
okay.
example. I'm sure it's a little bit leggier than you want, and it's got some dieback because I see some big trees there. It's got some shade, but that's also a boon in the summer when it's really, really hot.
That's
So,
true. Very true.
6
Okay.
of 1.
There is your answer, and that is the show. We are out of time.
What?
I know.
No, we have more questions. We're not.
It's it. We're out of time. They're gonna. We'll just smell the
Smell
lavender.
my fingers swelling.
Thank you guys so much for coming in. It's always a blast when you guys are in the studio, and thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to send questions or email or pictures or have plant ID or anything for our panelists, send those questions into us at yourgarden@gmail.com, or you can always look us up on Facebook. We are inundated with cicada videos and pictures right now in our inbox. So thank you for sending those.
We need the recipes.
For cicada, Marty would love them. Marty would love them.
And
So-
rabbit. We need rabbit.
Oh, that's right. I gotta wrap it up now.
Rabbit, I'll eat.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.